Okay, so for some reason it is way too hot here in the UK. I have decided to put my fan on, and I have also decided that I am going to be doing a review of Mastering Manga Books 1 and Book 2 by Mark Crilley, who is also someone who's on YouTube. If you don't know about him, his link to his channel is in the description below. So, with Mastering Manga, this was one of the first books I decided to get when I was actually trying to learn how to do manga style drawings. It'd been something that I'd kind of tried to emulate in the past, but I'd never been that accurate, mainly because I wasn't really learning, I was just imitating. But this was one of the books that actually did help me start to learn how to do that. So, if we get started, one of the things that I really liked about it is that it actually gave you, from the beginning, the option and instructions to go through and do poses and profiles that, aren't necessarily ones that people might talk about in a general how to draw book or how to draw lesson. The three-quarter view, I admit, is one that I had a fair bit of trouble doing when I started, so having this available was a really good option for me. And also, what this book actually showed you was how to draw fuller figured characters, because not everyone is the same size, so actually understanding how to do the lines, where to put all the different aspects of it was again something that I hadn't experienced in previous items. Now, proportion tips and tricks. I briefly glanced over this, but it's something that I've been able to keep mentally in my mind to understand how to proportion people if you are wanting to go for a realistic style. If you're wanting to go chibi style, that's a different matter. For the next one, we actually have tips on drawing adults. So adding in wrinkles, trying to get poses and positions to indicate how old someone might be. Which, okay, I'm repeating myself, another aspect that people may not really give instructions on. Drawing babies and toddlers, again giving you proportion ideas and just how to actually go about designing someone who might be a toddler versus someone who is a little bit older. Quickly skipping over this, but there is a section on how to draw chibi characters and also various variations on that. Now, some of my favourite parts of this book are just these splash pages. 50 ways to draw hands. Even given this, I would still recommend actually drawing from photos or real life. I mean, you probably have at least one hand of your own, so you can use that as a reference. But even for looking at how the fingers move, how objects interact with them, it's a really, really good study point. Similarly, we've actually got poses and options for people walking, running a bit, and getting the motions down of that. Another good splash page, 30 classic manga poses, which again you'd benefit from real life study, but as an option you can have a look at these and see how the hips join, how the arms move, the limits of flexibility and such. Clothing. This was something that I was just atrocious at, and being realistic, I'm still learning it because there were so many aspects of this that you can do. I mean, I have in my bookshelf an entire book just dedicated to how to draw clothing and fabric folds. It can be that complex. The next one, fundamentals of perspective. So you can see we've got 1-point perspective, 2-point and 3-point perspectives. Mainly because this is on a how to draw manga book, which essentially means it's not just drawing the characters, it is drawing the backgrounds, the setup, getting all of those aspects designed. And so we go on to items such as looking at inking tips, including how to actually hold a pen so that you can decide on the pivot point that you're going to use and what kind of momentum and lines you can actually draw with that. And then finally, layout sequences and paneling. That is pretty much it for the first one. Going into the second one, we start off pretty similarly with the first one on how to draw a 3/4 view, this time of a male figure. And then beyond that, we go into some facial expressions, how to actually identify what makes a face stressed or concerned versus shocked, how to add the expression to an actual face. Eyes and ears, noses and mouths, some of my pain points when I was getting started, but it does show you from a start how it's done realistically, and then how you can adjust and adapt it to actually be more in line with a manga style. Following on from the first book where we had some aspects talking about proportion, we also have aspects of how to draw the female body in profile and from behind, and also the male body in profile and from behind. More hands. Now, again, this is an extension of what we saw in the first book, partly on the way of, like, again, how to draw hands to indicate, like, how old the character is, what type of person the character is. Another demonstration on a hand holding items. Then we have, yes, I was meant to go back to that one. Legs and feet and footwear. Again, another aspect people may not consider. Some more useful poses which I gave a brief demonstration of. The girl jogging, which we saw in the first book. Then we have again some more on clothing, going back to, I suppose, technically the hands. Again, clothing will show you a lot about aspects of a character, who they are, what they're like, and even essentially the same person in the same pose can look radically different in rather different clothing. Another aspect that I liked on this was water effects, especially showing you how hair's affected. Again, that's something that I never really considered in the past. Some more aspects of how to put together a finished manga page, where we get an indication from the rough sketch, final pencil lines, inking and also tones. And then to finish off the book, we have some more sections on planning a panel and indicating a point of view, showing that depending on what kind of information you want to give people, like, do you want it to be neutral, do you want to give people an idea of what the room layout looks like, or do you want to focus on one specific character or one specific item or event that's going on. And all of these can set a very, very different tone to people. Now, I will also say that there is a third book, which I don't have. I tend to have something against getting the full set for whatever reason, but when I was looking at it, I didn't think that it was appropriate to my skill level. But beyond that, hope you've enjoyed this quick review, and I will see you soon.